I'm recording. Welcome, everybody. This is Coach Carol, and today is our second Club Office online workshop. This is an interview of mostly regional Toastmasters, free, but we welcome everyone and anyone from districts around the world. We have with us a couple of people from District 77. And everyone hear me clearly. Our intention today is to look closely at some of the club success plans, how some of our leaders do that. And what I had wanted to do was to find out from experts in the field answers to some of the questions that I posed for them. So what I did, I firstly conscripted a couple of experts. Zaranga and Adrienne are my experts today. Plus I had conscripted another expert from Canada. Like she's not able to join us today. Maybe today. This whole initiative is one that I'm keen to pursue, and I'm hoping that others will join in the future as a way of providing ongoing training for club officers. I spoke with our district director of District 3 and said, let's go ahead and do all the planning, and maybe by February next year we might be able to send. Julie and I are both digital areas, and you know it's so hard for our club officers to get to training in the metropolitan area. I'm sure that others would find that so, depending on their geographic location as well. So what I'm going to do firstly is let you know how this series will work. We have a set of slides you're looking at the moment. This particular set consists of questions and answers, strategy. So I see that Varanga is on the ball and he's already moved to the next slide. Thank you, Varanga. And this one asks us, what are the challenges in your club? So in the text chat, can you answer that for us? Just briefly, for the dot points. So what are the issues that are challenging your club right now? And if you would like to comment about any of those issues in voice, you could do so now. So I will ask Moses as one of our participants. Could you tell us, Moses, what challenges have been faced by your clubs in Canada?
Could you please repeat it? You're just sort of going in and out, Carol. What challenges, I'm sorry, are...
Yeah, it's on the screen for you there. If you can
okay. Okay, so the issues that our club are facing now, would this have to do with membership? Would it have to do with people coming into the club? In what sort of area do you want me to identify?
Yeah, I should have been more specific, but the challenges in relation to your club, membership being one of the biggest.
It would be membership. At the moment, we are getting people coming into the club. At this stage, what I've been doing is being meter and greeter is firstly I qualify them. Why are they coming into the club? I'm not probing, I'm not being nosy, but I just want to find out. This morning, especially, there was a lady who was coming in because she's just started a networking business and she needs to present to people. And so after finding that out, her name was an interesting name, and so even to find the history of her name, it was an Italian Jewish name. I'm sorry, I just can't remember it now, but it was to make her feel welcome. What was that, Ma? Her name was Kitty. And it was just to sometimes just to make people feel welcome. And then at the end, I approached her and I said, well, how do you feel? She said she would like to join the club. What are the steps? So again, it's just the challenges are firstly catering to people coming along to the club, assessing them to see if not that they want to join, but what goals do they have in their life, and then following up with their goals. So that would be a challenge, just really assessing the people coming to the club in a way that we can cater them.
Yeah, I think that is a really good strategy because we are dealing with people that are all
Yeah.
unique.
Yes.
I'm using a new word recently. We all have. It's not in the dictionary, I don't think, but it means that we all are unique. Let me now move on to some questions for our interview today. So I'm going to move to the next slide. And let you know that I had hoped to interview both Varanga and ABN today. But never mind, we do have Varanga here, and he is from the Manningham Toastmasters Club in Melbourne and has other roles like the District 73 newsletter editor, the division director in that, many roles. So I figured that Varanga was an expert in club success planning. So I'm going to ask him some of his questions now, and hopefully he can launch into his answers. So I'm going to put on you the next slide, which is details now about Varanga and Manningham Toastmasters. And the first question that I ask is, what is your philosophy about being a...
Sorry, I missed that. Like Moses says, the sound goes in and out.
All right, I'll do that again. I'm sorry. Tell me, Varanga, what do you do as a district officer?
Oh, okay. Well, sorry for the feedback. Well, I've got two district officer roles. One is the newsletter editor, and the other one is the division director. For the newsletter editor, I'm just trying to essentially be the funnel that takes items that some Toastmasters want to tell other Toastmasters and put them in this one publication that goes out, that gets emailed out once a month. And the issue that I find is that there's a fluctuation in how much material I have from month to month. And I'm starting to send out feelers to people and asking them, would they like to write articles? So hopefully over time, I'll have a bank of articles that I can access when my regular contributors aren't contributing as regularly. And to a certain extent, it's just a matter of getting to know more and more people. And I'm slowly getting to know more and more people. Okay, so I'll set newsletter editor aside. It's so strange seeing my hands go in the opposite direction. As division director, my best description of my role is that I'm the personal assistant of the area directors. And I'm a messenger between the district hierarchy and I guess the areas. And that's the best thing I can think of as far as a description of what I'm doing. I am also supposed to be organizing the club officer training and organizing the division contests, and I'm slowly getting into that. I've chosen my dates. That's about it so far, and I've been asking people for guidance as to how to do that. What I've been told and what I can gauge is that my main role is to just be there. and let other people know that I am there. And so if anything goes wrong, I'm an assistant that they can call upon. So it's this concept that's related to one of holding space. I don't have to be doing something all the time, but it's nice to know that I'm around. How's that for my initial answer?
That's a
That's
brilliant
a
answer.
brilliant.
Let's move on to two. I know
Anger has
particular about the role of VPE. Something to do with Yes Minister, I believe.
Yes, there's an episode of Yes Minister where Hacker, the minister, is challenging his personal private secretary, Bernard Woolley, and he's saying, when the chips are down, whose side are you on? Bernard Woolley is a civil servant. And Bernard Woolley's response is, Minister, it is my job to make sure that the chips stay up. And for me, and I'm getting to realize that this is more the job of the area director. But when I started being VPE, I was a little bit belligerent and I was thinking, well, I don't really care about the DCP. I'll just do whatever is pleasing for my members. And then I thought, well, that's a little bit of a cop-out because I've agreed to do this job of VPE, and so I've implicitly agreed to have the DCP be important to me for at least this year. And so I thought, okay, I'll see if I can get both done. And I think the issue here is that it's one of measurement. For a person, for each individual member, they will have intangible goals that they want to achieve, feeling more comfortable standing in front of a stage, and how they communicate with other people. It's very hard to put a number to that kind of thing. Whereas the DCP deals in tangible things that you can measure, like how many members there are and how many speeches have been given, how many manuals have been finished. And to a certain extent, that's all that can be done. So it's a slightly inaccurate image capture of what's happening in a club or what's happening in an area, what's happening in a division. And I am making arm gestures which you can't see because you're on camera. Anyhow, so I think the issue for Bernard Woolley in Yes Minister is that he had to be an absolutely loyal servant to the Prime Minister and also, or the Minister, and an absolutely loyal servant to the civil service. And for me, that's the role of the VPE. It's to make sure that the club is meeting the metrics that are set by the district, but also serving the individual goals of the members. Now, there's a member at Manningham, and the reason that he's joined Manningham is that he wants to surround himself with people who aren't the kind of people that he normally meets. He's willing to fulfill any role, but he really doesn't have the drive to get through a certain number of speeches or a certain number of leadership roles. That's not really important to him. And that might be a slightly extreme case, but we do find that there's a spectrum of how people see Toastmasters as helping them. Let me know if I'm getting too long-winded about this. I eventually decided that I was going to set my sights on getting presidents distinguished for the club. And towards the end, decided that, well, 8 points is good enough. Because in order to get the 9th point, we would have had to have sacrificed things in order to artificially get that point. And so while I was trying to achieve both goals, in the end, the membership is still the most important thing. And we actually ended up getting that 9th point, but that was pure chance. Let me try and make this a smaller philosophy for the role of VPE. It's someone who's trying to juggle many things at the one time. Our club has been lucky in the sense that we've had our current VPE, the person who succeeded me, was the person who really helped me out in the last year when I was the VPE. And so I guess I can summarize this. Oh, sorry. Okay, cool. I'll try to quickly summarize this. I tried to organize the club as VPE, trying to be fair to everyone who are going to have to go out of their way to help me. But the only way it seems to work is that people do go out of their way to help you. And it's very nice once you've got a good culture in the club so that people are going out of their way. It's not something you can demand, but it's the thing that makes the club work.
Thank you, Viranga.
We do have a couple more.
Yep.
However,
I've asked
to time them.
Okay.
So I'll give you another
10 minutes, and so
can you just show
us something there that time.
So the next question.
For you, Viranga.
Yep.
Is in your club. What are the strategies of leading club officers in the whole planning? So processes, strategies, and
I think it's one of listening to people and what they want. I guess we're a large enough club that sometimes what everyone wants gets lost along the way. But I did find that. Oh, sorry, I'm not answering a question. Wait a second. Let me backtrack. I'm not really sure that I have a good answer for. I'm not really sure that I have a good answer for this one. I think it was just a matter of us regularly communicating with each other. We did have the club exec meetings, but we did spend a lot of time at the end of meetings just chatting to one another and just discussing everything that was challenging the club. As for the people who succeeded us as club officers, it was just a matter of investing in our successes. And so I didn't so much give a set of documents to my successor who would have, I guess, written most of them herself anyhow. I just have an open door, so she can contact me anytime she wants, whatever time of the day it is, and I'll try and help if I can. And when I was VPE, my predecessor, Travis Finlayson, he was always available to me when I had something that I needed to do. So most of the time I'd actually try to do something myself. But if I ran into a problem, I'd have him to call upon to just bounce ideas off. And the nice thing that Travis did was that even on the occasions where he disagreed with me, he always treated me as the boss, in the sense that whatever I decided, he'd go along with even if he disagreed with it. And so with my successor, Cindy, sometimes she does things that I wouldn't really do, but she's the boss. And I'll follow whatever she wants to do. And as for different club officers interacting with each other, we have different people who get excited about different things. And if someone's excited about something, you let them take the lead on something. I guess there are lots of words like something which act as variables in my sentences, and maybe my meaning isn't clear to the people listening. But I'm not sure that we have a protocol that we follow.
What are the
questions
asked by Moses, you have things
like a
for a
checklist
new office
for a new office
to build their knowledge base.
Sorry, I missed that. Do I have a checklist for an officer?
Yes, it's in the text chat there.
Yes, it's in the text chat there for you.
Okay, yes. All right. No, I don't believe I ever supplied a checklist for a new officer to build their knowledge base. I guess it's something that happens, I don't know, by people just chatting with each other. We do ask that the new officer gets thrown into the deep end in the sense that they organize the club changeover dinner for the VPE and they start organizing the contests. But no, I'm afraid I wasn't that organized. I guess my basic approach is just to genuinely care and hope that things work out.
Thank you, Varanga.
Cool.
Appreciate your time.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate your time and your.
So are we skipping the resources for sharing and I'll turn my mic off?
No. Do you have some resources
for sharing?
I'm not really sure what the question's asking, but one thing that I really liked was that there's a Coursera course on public speaking. So it's a free online course that people can sign up for. And it's primarily looking at speaking on video. So I don't know if other people are interested in checking that out.
Excellent. Could you
add something about that in the chat?
Okay, I shall turn my microphone off and then look it up. And you can go on to someone else.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for putting up with me.
All right, that's excellent. Thank you so much, Varanga. There are so many ways in which we can plan for success. And I like what Varanga has been saying, that it's all about finding out what they want and being caring about how they can improve on their own skills. Julie, I wonder if you're able to use your, yes, you'd like to chime in at any time. Might not work for you, so please feel free to add into the text chat. I'm not hearing. All right, so what I will do, I'll move now to a set of questions that I posed for another master in another slide here. And what I asked of Gwyn was some of the strategies that they use for corporate clubs. Because corporate clubs is not something that I had any knowledge about at all. Thank you, Julie. Really appreciate you being in here today. And I can see there that you are definitely needing to go to another meeting. Good luck with that. Feel free to come in at any other time. The next one of these is on October. Thank you for joining us from Bendigo. So what I'll do now is I'll just go through some of the questions that I asked about how they do it for their clubs in Canada. Now, Gwyn is from the Royal Lunch and Learn Club. 15. That's in Ontario. So I asked the question. Question. All right, yeah, here we go. And her theme was all about the strategies for helping. So I asked her a series of questions about the club that she was involved with. and she was kind enough to send me her answers in an email. So I summarised these so that we could share some of them today. They are each on the drum presentation. Hoping you can see the slide now, where I'm describing who Gwyn Pinto is. And at the Royal Lunch and Learn Club, she is past president. And at the Advanced Royal Toastmasters Club, sponsor and a member. That is a pre-charter club. Both of these. Toronto, Canada, not my fault. So with her answer, what she has to say. In the Royal Lunch and Learn Club, they go over their DCP and club success planning. They were chartered and were distinguished in 1 year. Last year, they were the president. Something must be going right. Again, they are targeting President Trump for the Royal Lunch and Learn, and they do have some strategies. And it's a pity she's not here today to explain what the Smarties Award is, but I know that at each they do have a Smarties Award for encouraging participation in their club meetings. And with some other answers she gave to me, I think that chocolate is a strong incentive over there in Canada. They also encouraged their own executives to go for a triple crown, set an example. I'm not sure how many other clubs might do that. Perhaps it happens here in District 73 and I'm just not aware of it. But I think that could be an excellent idea. In the next slide, we've got further sets of things. And this time for the pre-charter club, they are holding a number of awards. This is for their new senior members so that they can get that club successful. In this club, the immediate past president, the VP Ed was also the immediate past president director. He would have plenty to offer for one club. And what they do in this club is they specialise in evaluation. They have round table evaluation and table topics evaluation. These are some of the techniques that I've tried in my club too, and they work well to have small numbers. They also have a weekly KitKat award. I'm not sure what that's for, possibly for an evaluation. They also keep their members focused with other contests. They have the traditional 4, but they also have elevator pitch contests, vacation contests, and others. I'm really wanting to know more about that. I think what happens with the round table evaluations, Moses, is that more than one person has an opportunity to give feedback to the person who has spoken. And it could be that it's done around the table and everyone says something positive or improvement. And that you would do that, yes, a team evaluation. Exactly that. So let's move on to her other set of questions. There's lots of ideas here that might spark something. She, being Gwyn Pinto, is the club sponsor for both clubs, and she set up free toast host and easy speak for both clubs from day one. I've not heard of that being done, but I think that has value. But she's saying that what she did do was allow them to decide one they prefer. So have someone set it up technically, and then they look at it and decide which will work. Their main method of communication is email. They have the added advantage of having intranet. Because they're a corporate club, they have other methods of actually communicating with each other. Yes, Moses, I agree. Doing the hard yards right up front for a new club take away a lot of the pressure. Something I'd like to try for the club. Let me see if she's got some yet. And Gwyn says that the best thing to do is to keep going. Always continue to promote your club and make sure they all ask that you ask them to join. People like to be asked, and that could be done one-on-one coffee and ask. He also passionately promotes sharing of your Toastmasters Club story, and they promote at district level as well as in the local free newspapers, and they use Eventbrite, their event management, and they have a free, how to say it, Kijiji. It's a free classified promotional offer. This next one, strategy that she offers about the posters, I think is brilliant. I've already started acting on that one. Gwyn proposes that you put posters in office buildings. That could be in the kitchen, the print room, even in the bathroom, or near the elevator banks if you're a high-rise building. And of course, in other buildings like churches, grocery stores, and libraries. When she mentioned those, a penny dropped in my head, and I thought, yes, of course, put them in all those places where lots of people congregate. They also use a laundry flyer. I'm sure you've seen the kind of thing that you have a page, bottom of which it will tear off and taken by the reader, take away with them. That could be nice and done as an office building. And she can also suggest that running membership campaigns is a really good. And they also add more incentives by offering a free coffee gift card from either Starbucks or what Tim Horton is, maybe it's Canadian Coffee House. So lots of suggestions here as to how you can help promote your club to get more. So I'd like to see what reaction you might have had to that. And maybe I'll ask Moses, what of those suggestions but
Wow. Let's see. As I've been listening to you, Carol, I've been sort of getting used to the type of demographics here in Hamilton. Now, Hamilton's only 100,000 people. And it's knowing the type of person that would like to use Toastmasters. Not many people like to use Toastmasters until they come along and they see the value of using Toastmasters. But what I did enjoy here was those prizes. I've never thought about prizes. And sometimes by having members actually do the work and for them to go out, you don't have to do anything. It's the members who do the work. And I think sometimes we don't value our members enough or empower them enough to go out, not to drag people in, but to actually be the PR for the club. So in all that, I think the membership campaign, by concentrating on the member, if you empower your member and they walk out of your club meeting all fully charged and pumped, they will do the actual membership drive themselves. And just a little added incentive of those little gift cards or prizes. We used to have that at First Impressions Toastmaster. If you brought along, say, 3 members, you would get a little coffee cup. And I tell you, that coffee card made me bring a lot of members, but it sort of empowered me. That's how I would respond to that. Just the prizes and empowering the members to actually do your work for you.
Thank you so much, Moses. That's excellent. I think that we are all thinking similarly now that it
Yeah.
works well to give little insights like that. Something that
Yes.
talent is certainly works with my. What I'm going to do now is just give you some of an overview of what Adrienne wants to share with us today. I'm going to do that by opening answers. Error message. Too much text today. You ask questions I asked at ABS. And you may not know what in current club coordinator. And I thought, who better than to have a club coach advice on how they might advise the club. The club coach coordinator is by the club director. The role is a delegate eligibility criteria for having club coach is 8, 12. Often find that clubs with fewer than 8 members all in this realm really need help. Club coaches offer assistance and club coach coordinator helps to find them. Adrienne is telling me in her answers that they look carefully at the goals achieved for the current year and find out which clubs really need more help. And she's telling me that about 7 of our divisions have clubs that need help. She then has face-to-face approach with club coaches where she's giving them some advice on how to help them. And usually, obviously, advises club coaches to encourage the clubs to have a consistent PR presence, even using old-fashioned ideas like flyers, letterbox drops, and flyers in railway libraries. Also, to look carefully at the benefits that might be had to the use of Facebook groups, pages, and she also advises club coaches to talk to the group about having a club website. Because it's from there that the visitors can find out. I'm just going to pause there and find out from Ranga next. Can you tell us what clubs in uh, how many of them would use social media? How many of the clubs in Eastern Division might make social media. Answer.
Um, uh, Carol, I'm afraid I didn't hear the question. I heard my name, so I figured that you must be talking to me, and I heard how many of them, and I'm trying to now extrapolate to figure out what the question is.
Right. Let me.
How many
clubs
Eastern Division use
social media
or promotion?
Oh,
Ranger is typing his answer.
That's fine.
oh, sorry. Yes, no. Of the 18 clubs in Eastern Division, Manningham uses it because our club president, Kathy, is really she's an architect herself, and she likes visually presenting things. And whenever there's any kind of competition, she's really interested in participating. And we also just do simple things like, she's into social media, and so she'll do stuff on it. So there are a few members in our club who are social media savvy, and they'll be involved in that. I believe Nilambik also does a lot in social media, but mainly there because their current VPM and former VPPR, Tiffany Dung, is also really into social media, and so I'm not sure what the proportion is of the 18 clubs in Eastern Division, but there are a few clubs where there are one or two members in each club who are really switched on to social media, and those clubs have a good presence.
Thank you, Varanga.
But
Thank you, Varanga.
sorry, I was backspacing.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to move forward in my.
All right, I'm going to move forward in my slides.
So at the moment, I've covered some of the role of the
At the moment, I've covered some of the role of the sub-coach coordinator.
Getting feedback on my
audio name.
Okay. I do have a comment about the club coach, but not exactly that. I don't know if this is relevant, but I was at an area meeting recently, and there were different clubs in the area that were either not at all interested in the DCP or interested a lot in the DCP. And one of the clubs, which I won't mention, said that they could empathize with one of the other clubs that wasn't really that keen on contests and DCP and stuff like that because they went through a lot themselves. And then they had a visitor who's a very experienced Toastmaster, and he almost dressed them down in his general evaluation at the end of their meeting. And they were initially shocked, but then, because he'd been kind enough to provide copious notes, they used that as their blueprint for the next couple of years of moving forward. And they used to have the club succeed. And so the club is quite vibrant now. And good to see the the bright side of having someone speak very clearly to them.
I think that is
And
so valuable. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that comment.
cool. Carol, I'm just seeing a photo of you at the moment.
Yes, what I've done,
Yes, what I've done, Varanga,
is to show
my avatar.
Oh, yes.
Cut out
audio.
audio.
Okay, yeah, I like the idea.
And to do that,
click
in the down arrow on the video tool, and then choose use
avatar option.
See how you go with that. And I'll ask you to turn
off your audio again.
Moses has
done that, and I think
military
cat.
I think sometimes we need that hard hat when we are talking about club coaching and dealing with club success, especially in some of our clubs where we've got new leaders not sure what to do. So I really like that connotation then. What I'm going to do now is our time. I'm going to leave the other parts of the time when we have her come in and help. I think it makes so much more sense to hear from you. Yeah, there's no echo now because the Varanga has turned off the audio. I have an avatar rather than in this program. Thank you for your continued text chat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you now some of the strategies that we've found useful in one of my land-based clubs. I hope that one of my Albury Wodonga Toastmasters might be able to join me. But given that I am on there, I will through this. I like the fact that you need a set of headphones in each house, Varanga. Indeed, yes. So what we did at Albury Wodonga Toastmasters recently was discuss a workable strategy for using the club plan document. In the text chat, can you tell me if you know about this document and you use it in your clubs? All club plan usually held in one of the manuals, and it's in the club officer manual, I believe. So have a look if you've got one. And what we found in recent club officer training sessions, especially those held on the other side of the border during the 70s, is that the use of the club success plan can be used successfully to help the club move forward. One of the problems with the club success plan was that it was a PDF format. That meant that you either had to print it and write on it, therefore someone would have to collate written on it to put in the document. So Albury Wodonga came up with a sort of plan. Firstly, we convert PDF success plan into a Word document. I just took a copy of the text from the PDF doc, turned it into a Word. Had all the content, I think it's about really is just a set of questions for club officers. Club. And it deals with a segment of moments of truth. Hopefully he can come back. So the moments of truth are all those questions that we ask our club to find out if we are. After converting the PDF to a Word document, then we decided, well, we'll run into the same problem. If everyone has one document with lights in it, someone else has got to slate it. So the next step was to upload our Word document to Google Docs. Same pieces of information, but all now in collaborative format. So if you're familiar with Google Docs, then this might be something to try with. Yeah, moments of truth is something that is one part of the whole. It should not take over all of the club office. I'm not saying that it is. We were encouraged to look at some of the questions within it to help ensure that the club was planned. And as you know, one of the things that we do towards DCP club program is to look at the educational achievement. So to get DCP, we look for members to achieve 2 competent communication and awards, another 2 competent communication awards. So by putting all of these questions into this Google Doc, we were then able to share the team. So we sent it round, and each person was asked to add content in a different color. So here in this particular one, it's a bit hard to read the question, but we're wanting to know what are the preferred methods of communication with the team. And in my land-based club, the main is our face-to-face regular meetings, and these are our one. Now we're able to say that we use Google Docs in club meetings anytime mode. We also use the email to communicate in our club office. That's useful for other clubs. For the online club, hoping that Moses is here to support me back in due to connectivity. In our online club, we meet as a committee on the last Saturday of each month. I go to we also use strategies like the Trello project tool, like a task board, added to the board, your own task. We also use open executive meetings to share our plans, best strategies with the whole club. So this is what I've done on this page where it's my turn writing. I've added my text. So you can see as you work through the document, you would have lots and lots of comments from each of them. The last step in this process is a simple one. Even a couple of weeks of sharing of this collaborative doc, everyone's had a chance to say something about the partnership. Then the president or the secretary will print a copy of the shared document and bring it together. See what discuss, vote on. Then as a final step in the process, we as an executive can share summary presentation. So that way, we're collaborating on the tools that help success planning move along simply and objectively. To me, it made a great deal of sense to move it that way. In my land-based clubs, it's very rare for us to meet outside of them. This is quite different to my experience with online clubs. Executives will meet frequently, especially in private, weekly connectivity between something smartly. So I hope that this particular strategy will be something to consider your own. Just a simple use of Google Docs. Before I move on to the closing slide, Ranga, do you want to make a comment about that Google Docs?
I'm afraid I was essentially reading the slides because I could hear very little of what you said. I could hear you speaking, and I wanted to know what was going on. My rough, if I understood the gist of what was happening, you had a common document like a Club Success Plan, which I've seen the official template for, and we did want to do that at Manningham, but we kept on being pushed aside. You used it as a Google Doc or something like that so that multiple people could modify it at the one time, which I think is a good idea. And then after the execs finished with it, you presented it as an educational in a regular meeting. And then I'm not sure that I got much more out of it. Can you ask the question again?
No, that's fine. Great summary. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. I'll get you. Moses, you made it back in.
Yes, I did.
I've just been talking to Ranga about a particular strategy that we've been using. I'm just going to go back to the slide. What we did was to create a Google Doc. Usually this is in PDF format, very hard to use other than handwriting. We wanted to, as a club, collaborate on education, and we particularly wanted to share that amongst all of the executives. So we uploaded it to a Google Doc. Then we had each person and add their text in a different colour. They're writing, so that was my addition. And then at an executive meeting, bring the whole thing together. And in a short space of time, we will have been able to address the document without having to do it manually. At the end of that, we would then have a little summary. And usually this sort of thing is done a couple of times. I think there are different things that you focus on in the first 6 months of office. So you might flip through documents, focus on one half, July to December, and the second half from June to July. That's good to know. Correct. Here, I knew that I didn't know exactly how that works in technology. So this was a strategy used by the Albury with about to see the results of that. So in conclusion for today's workshop, I wanted to indicate to you how my thinking has changed the last 2 days about how we do more of these workshops, interviews. For example, I thought about this particular presentation as being very suitable project 3 on television now. You know the one I mean. No, sorry, when you're the host. This particular project, when you're the host, requires you to interview people doing it on television. This is the closest to that we probably do. And in our online club meetings, we've certainly had a couple of times. So I thought to myself, why not use that project as a way of enticing more people to join us, either project 2 or project 3 of the Getting on Television manual. What do you think about that, Moses? Do you think that would work?
Of course it will. I'm working on this particular project with Marina Bertolino from Torino today. Now what I've done for the project number 3, I've found a little piece of theme music. Do you mind if I sort of try it with you?
Yeah,
now,
go ahead.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it, and I'll use an opening script, and tell me what you think. Welcome to Profile Tonight, the program that gives you exclusive insight into the members of Toastmasters Without Borders. Today we're interviewing Marina Bertolino, whose family comes originally from Torino, Italy. We'll be discussing her book, Burning Button, the inspiration for her book about Marina herself. So grab your cup of coffee or tea, sit back and relax. So I thought I'd find some theme music and sort of like use it as an actual TV show. And that way, does that make sense?
Yes, I like that approach. I would suggest that perhaps the volume of the music is softer.
I wasn't too sure how loud it was, you see.
Your voice is good.
Yes.
But I felt that it was the music was overpowering a little bit.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll turn it down and just have it in the background then.
Yes, that would work.
Excellent.
Really well.
Excellent.
And so what given me an idea here as well.
So what I've done is with that script, I actually sent it to Marino, who I'll be interviewing today on Toastmasters Without Borders. I've given her the questions I'll ask her. I've given her the time commitment that she's going to be giving in those questions. So in the 7 minutes, she's going to be discussing, and at least I've sort of guided her in the different sections of timing of how to answer the different questions. She'll give her own answers, but at least she knows the time commitment to each question that I'll ask her. So that's what I've done with project number 3 when you're the host.
Thank you very much for that. And Miranda has comments that are valuable. My thought was that in such workshops as these, that we turn the communicating on project 3 into like a series of interviews of people who have expertise on Toastmasters. So for today, the theme was club success planning. I called on Miranda ABA to be my lead. We managed to do wonderful with Miranda, thank you for that. And what I think I'm now enabling myself to do is teach that particular program in my business.
Now, can I just
invite others to come in and perhaps do the same? Could in one of these workshops have a couple of interviewers and a couple of interviewees.
I agree. I think when people
brings me to the last slide for today, give time. So the next workshop theme is about mentoring. I've used the words from the current manual given to us by our new president, Mike Sawyer, who has come up with the acronym. I thought that might work as a lovely introduction to a series of interviews. Our mentors have been about that. You have someone in mind, Moses, who you might call on as someone who has lots to say about the benefits of mentoring.
you keep popping in and out, and I'm sorry I didn't hear the last few words of what you were saying. Could you please repeat?
I will repeat. Can you suggest someone whom you believe would be a great interviewee about mentoring Toastmasters?
Now, if I heard right, it's like looking for a particular person to assist with mentoring. There was one particular Toastmaster on Great White Northern. We had a meeting on Monday. As the logistics manager, I like to get to meet all the different people who are coming aboard. And there was a visitor, and the particular visitor, who would you recommend as an interviewee about being a mentor? An interviewee. I would suggest one of the members of the Great White Northern. Now, the reason for that was that he has produced, I think, about 25 television shows. And so because he's got the insight of collaborating, putting together a television show, and he's had experience in that area, it's like really we need to be alongside those type of people who collaborate and put together a program that requires a lot of toing and froing and a lot of the camera work and just all these different people coming together. And so a particular person in the Great White Northern, an excellent evaluator, he would be an excellent interviewee about being a mentor. Now that person, I think his name is Martin. I'm sorry, but I'll have to go back to who attended the meeting on Monday. But he was very, very good. Let me tell you why. There was a PowerPoint given by a gentleman called Ed Wedler. amazing PowerPoint, and just what this particular evaluator said blew Ed away, or Edward, sorry. And Edward changed his PowerPoint presentation immediately after the evaluator had given some insight. And it was only because this evaluator had the authority and also had the insight and the sense to make his PowerPoint more, I wouldn't say attractive, more effective. That's what I enjoyed about Monday's meeting.
Wonderful. I think I know who you mean now.
Oh, okay.
I looked at the hosting Great White North Facebook
Yep.
group, so I know exactly who you mean. All right,
So-
I have another question for you. I'm hoping that you might. Who would you recommend as the interviewer about mentoring?
An interviewer. Now that's interesting because the interviewer, you have to, I think, you have to examine the different attributes of an interviewer. The interviewer has to really allow the person being interviewed to open up, but to ask the certain types of probing questions that have been started right from the start, which will allow that person or the interviewer to really open up and tease the person to explain everything that they know about mentoring. So the interviewer is one that can build a relationship just like that, but also know how to listen, because sometimes the person being interviewed has some key words that they say, and so the interviewer is not interrupting them, but is actually saying, so what you're saying is this, and so it summarizes what the actual person says. No, it's not Tony Nichols. Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Now, I think his name, I'm sorry, it just escapes me, this guy over in Canada. But again, the interviewer must make the person interviewed at ease in order to bring out a lot of the information that the person being interviewed will bring out.
Yeah, I agree entirely with that. It's so important to have someone who puts that read in a comfort zone. And it's much harder to do when you are being viewed by other people, audience, as in studio or online.
Can I share with you, Carol, a little exercise that I practice? It's a Toastmasters exercise that I practice. What I like to do, the purpose of a Toastmaster to me is communication. We are communication experts. Is that when I'm out shopping, wherever I might be, I like to find a certain stranger I've never met before and strike up a conversation with them. And in that instant, not get them to like me, but just to strike up a conversation. And what it does is it teaches me to listen, while I'm using my listening skills from Toastmasters, but also like a table topics thing. And as I talk with them, I'm assessing to see whether they've got a sense of humor. And when you've got a sense of humor, I can play on that, and they can play with me. So it's sort of like a little game. So that's what I've sort of, I don't do it habitually every day, but I do it when I do go out, just to practice the skill of the Toastmastering table topics, what I've been doing. So that's just something that I just like to practice, a game.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Moses. That's a lovely way to practice your skills for our listeners who appreciate that course, maybe emulate what we do. So in order to finish up on today's, great to have you. And what I need to follow up next workshop. My last question is, if we have someone as the interviewee about mentoring, person like one, assuming he's in or new, and we would therefore have timing for the next workshop. So my next available date is October 20, October 27 would you be? theme of the meeting is what we're seeing on empowering leaders. October 27, what I would hope to be able to do is 2 committees, possibly 2 words. So if Ranga could get me contact, I will follow up in contact with that one. And I wonder if Moses or Ranga might come back and join us as interviewers. Let me summarize that in the text. Thank you for emailing that to Ranga. So if we can get Tony, the person who said, oh, we need to find someone else to be engaging and informative on the topic of empowering men. And I'm wondering who might be available now. So at that point, what I will now do is see if there's any last comments. Thank you both for joining me today. It has been problematic with our connection. I sense that the weather has not been conducive for Moses and myself. I know that audio hasn't been optimal. So I'm now going to close the recording and invite all our listeners to join us again for the topic of empowering leaders. Thank you once again. See you again soon. Coach Carol signing out.